In a quiet corner of North Carolina, inside a dusty old shed that hadn't been opened in years, sat something that wasn't supposed to exist. A parachute, not a museum artifact, not a forgotten souvenir, but a parachute an investigator would later describe as 1 in a billion. And when it was finally discovered, it didn't go to a collector. It went straight to the FBI, because this parachute might be the missing answer to the greatest unsolved skyjacking in American history. This is the story of a 50-year-old secret, a family haunted by suspicion, and a single object that could finally reveal the true identity of the man we call D.B. Cooper. This story doesn't begin with the FBI. It begins with a family and a name. Richard Floyd McCoy Jr., a Green Beret, a helicopter pilot, and in 1972, a convicted skyjacker who carried out a crime almost identical to D.B. Cooper's just months later. For decades, McCoy's children lived with a disturbing question they couldn't escape. What if their father wasn't a copycat? What if he was the original? After their mother passed away, they searched her property. That's when they found it. Their father's old parachute. At first, it looked like nothing more than leftover military equipment. But the more they examined it, the more unsettling the truth became. They didn't believe this was just a parachute. They believed it was the parachute. The one used on a cold, rainy night in November of 1971 when D.B. Cooper leapt from a Boeing 727 with $200,000 and vanished into the darkness. The family made a choice that would change the case forever. They came forward. They told their story to a retired pilot and investigator named Dan Grider. And once experts examined the parachute, everything changed. Investigators say the details are impossible to ignore. The parachutes given to D.B. Cooper in Seattle were carefully documented. Their rigging, stitching, and construction were studied for decades. This parachute showed custom modifications, unusual stitching, specific rigging adjustments, alterations that suggest deep professional knowledge, not the work of an amateur, not the work of someone guessing, but the work of a trained jumper. A military professional, someone exactly like Richard McCoy. Then came another chilling development. 2025, the FBI quietly declassified hundreds of pages related to the D.B. Cooper investigation. Inside those documents, witnesses describe Cooper not as nervous or reckless, but as calm, focused, meticulous. They say he carefully inspected the parachutes mid-flight, handling them with the confidence of someone who had done this many times before. That description fits perfectly, and suddenly, a parachute hidden in a shed no longer seemed impossible. Although the FBI officially closed the D.B. Cooper case in 2016, they made a rare exception. They accepted the parachute as evidence. Then, without any public announcement, more than a dozen FBI agents arrived at the McCoy family property. They searched the land for 4 hours, not for money, not for weapons, but for DNA. A single hair, a trace of skin, anything preserved in the fabric for over 50 years. Because now, the question is no longer just who was D.B. Cooper, it's whether this was his parachute. If the DNA matches, history will be rewritten. It would mean D.B. Cooper survived the jump, lived a double life, and carried the greatest criminal secret of the 20th century to his grave, possibly protected by his own family. But if it doesn't match, then this 1 in a billion discovery becomes another haunting dead end in a case built entirely on them. The FBI remains silent, the analysis is ongoing, and the world is waiting. D.B. Cooper remains a legend because we want him to be. A ghost, a myth, a man who vanished into the night. But ghosts don't leave parachutes behind. They don't raise families filled with unanswered questions. Someone committed that crime, and in a forgotten shed in North Carolina, the most compelling piece of evidence yet may have been waiting all along. So what do you think? Has the mystery of D.B. Cooper finally been solved? Or are we about to witness one final twist in America's greatest unsolved crime? If you enjoyed this story, make sure to like this video and subscribe to DocuMyst. We dive deep into unsolved mysteries, hidden histories, and real cases that still raise more questions than answers. Check out our other videos on the channel and stay curious. Because at DocuMyst, the truth is always stranger than fiction.